Hey everybody, welcome to Glenn's Kitchen. A while back I asked some suggestions for some recipes that people want me to do, and my good friend Jeff Zahn asked me to do a pizza. Jeff and I go way back, wrestling together, cross country, track. We've done a lot of things, but the big thing was that after our wrestling matches on Friday nights, we would go to the mall and get pizzas, and I think we probably ate a whole pizza, each of us separately, because we were so hungry from starving ourselves during the week. Um, and that's kind of a running joke between me and Jeff. But today I'm not going to make regular pizza. I hope Jeff's not disappointed, but I'm going to make a Chicago deep dish pizza. And the Chicago deep dish pizza is a little bit different than a regular pizza. The dough, the crust actually is buttery and flaky, and it's thicker. It actually has cornmeal in it. So we're going to start with the dough, and then we're going to get into the sauce, and then we're going to assemble it. So let's start with the dough. Okay, over here I got my mix master, and I have it attached with a dough hook. This is what the dough hook looks like. And in here I already measured out my ingredients. It's best when you're making breads or any kinds of dough to really measure out the ingredients by weight and not by cup or teaspoon size. But if you don't have a scale, then you got to go by cups, and it usually works out pretty fine. So what I have here is 3.5 cups or 16 1/4 ounces of unbleached flour. I have 1 cup or 2 3/4 ounces of yellow cornmeal, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of table salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 1 packet of instant or rapid rise yeast. So I'm going to add this to the bowl. And we're just going to let this go just for about a minute till everything's incorporated. So I'm going to count in a minute here, and we'll come back. Okay, our minute's just about up. What I have here is 1 1/4 cups of water. It's about 110 degrees. You can tell by putting your finger in it, and my hands are washed. And you should be able to put in there, and it shouldn't neither feel hot nor cold. So it's just gonna go like bath water almost. And then I have here 3 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm going to add that to there. And the warm is going to give the yeast in here they're going to feed off it, and that's what's going to make it all rise. So I'm just going to pour this mixture of the butter and water in here, and we're going to let that mix for about, let's see, 1 to 2 minutes. And I'm going to scrape these sides down after a minute, so we'll come back. Okay, it's been going for 2 minutes, and now I'm going to kick it up to medium, and we're going to go probably about, let's see how long this is going to go, 4 to 5 minutes. So let me set the timer for 5 minutes. The dough should get glossy and pull away from the bowl like it's doing. So notice I have my KitchenAid on a towel because you can see it rocking back and forth. And don't ever leave it because it moves around a lot with dough and it will be on the floor. So let's come back in 5 minutes. Okay, we got about 2 minutes to go on the dough, and you can see how glossy it's getting. The longer you do this, the better what they call a gluten, and the gluten is going to make that nice crust. So what we're going to do is add 1 teaspoon of olive oil to a bowl, and I'm going to just direct your attention down here where that's going. If you can see the bowl down here, there we go. So I have my olive oil here, and I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon to this bowl. And with my hands, I'm just gonna coat the bowl all around, sides and everything, because this is where we're gonna put the dough in, and that's where it's gonna rise. There we go. And we got about a minute left on this. Like I said, the longer you go, the better. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out. I'm going to form this into like a nice ball, put it in here and coat that with olive oil. Then we're going to cover it and let it rise in a warm place for about an hour or so. 45 minutes to an hour, depending on, I'll keep checking. But I usually set my oven to warm, or keep warm, and then I shut it off, and then I open the door and let it cool down, and that's the place I'm going to store it in to let it rise. We've got about 10 seconds left on this, so. There we go. Okay, so we'll stop the machine and take this out. And what I'm going to do is just form this into a nice, see how I'm tucking underneath, just keep tucking so you get a nice smooth ball there, and you can see. And like I said, I'm going to pinch these down here. And I'm just going to roll this in the olive oil a little bit, just to coat it so it doesn't get crusty right away. And when it bakes, we want it crusty, but we don't want it getting hard, so the olive oil is going to kind of help keep this from getting hard. And I think we're good. So I'm just going to let this in here. Like I said, I'm going to cover it with a towel, and we're going to let it rise for an hour, and we'll come back. Okay, we're on the stove now, and we're going to start our sauce, and it's a simple sauce. I have the heat on medium right now, and I'm going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter in there. If it wants to cooperate, get out. There we go. And while that's melting, we'll just pause and come back. Okay, our butter's almost melted. I'm just going to pull you a little closer here. And to that, I have 1/4 cup of onion that I grated. And I'm going to add that and give that a stir around and get that soaked up in the butter there. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano and 1/2 teaspoon of table salt. And we're going to cook this medium-high for about 5 minutes until those onions start to brown. So we'll come back at that time. Okay, we're back here at our prep station. And what I have here is 3 cloves of garlic. And I'm going to take those ends off here. It actually calls for 2 cloves, but I'm using like 2 large ones and a small one. Garlic never hurts, right? And I'm just going to put it through my press here into this little jar here. And we got one more. And we'll scrape that off with the back of the knife. There we go. And I have 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and that's going to give it a nice texture. Let me give this a stir, my onion a stir here. It's starting to brown now, so got about 2 minutes left. And I'm going to show you how I chop basil. We need, let me check how much basil we need. 2 tablespoons. So hopefully this will give us about 2 tablespoons of chop. What I do is just kind of stack them together like that, and I roll them. I know what you're thinking. Okay. and then you just kind of chop down on them. And depending how fine you want them or how thick you want them, turn them and I'll chop again. And that looks to be about 1 tablespoon, so I'll come back and get more. We also need some sugar, and that's going to go in the sauce. So we'll come back after I get everything prepped. Okay, so our onions are done, and I'm going to pull you closer again and move you down. I'm always afraid my camera's going to fall in the pot. I'm going to add the garlic to this, and we're going to give that a quick stir. That's going to go anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds, just until that whip of garlic hits you in the face. You'll know it. That's good, right there. Okay, we're going to stir in our tomatoes. And scrape all that out of there. Now we'll give that a stir. Just rinse my hands off. I got some tomato sauce on them. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. And the sugar there that I put in is going to give this tomatoes nice sweetness. They're from a can, so kind of lose their sweetness. The sugar kind of adds it back in there. Okay, I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and we're going to let this go till it thickens up to about 2.5 cups. We'll come back at that time. Okay, the one last thing I want to add to this before we add our basil later. This isn't done yet, but I want to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. Like I said, this is to your taste. I'm going to use less than an eighth of a teaspoon. And we'll get that mix in there. And like I say, you can see it's at a simmer now. And like I said, we're just going to let that go till this is nice and thick and got down to about 2.5 cups. And again, we'll come back. Okay, I took the dough out, and as you can see, it's risen pretty nicely there. So I'm just going to remove this from the bowl here at this point, and I'm just going to put the bowl aside somewhere if I find room. And I want to roll this out to a 15 by 12 inch rectangle. So what I did here was cut out a sheet of wax paper, and I'm going to flatten this out gently. You don't want to push all the air out of it, but you want to kind of just make it into a rectangle. And then we can roll it the rest of the way. And we want to roll it to about to get to even these corners here, because this is a 15 by 12 inch. So I'm going to do that. You don't have to sit here and watch. Okay, I got this rolled out nicely. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. There we go. A little closer there. And what I'm going to do here is what we call laminating. Is I'm going to add softened butter, not melted, softened. And I'm just going to put that out. I have an offset spatula here, and I'm just going to spread this across this whole thing, leaving, I think it's a 1/2 inch from the border there. So let's This is really going to make this dough flaky. So we'll get that spread on and we'll come back. Okay, now I got the butter spread out a 1/2 inch or so from there. I'm just going to start rolling this into a cylinder. This is the hardest part of the whole thing, but it's really not that hard. So we're just going to roll this up. Sometimes this wax paper underneath here helps. You can just kind of fold it up like that. Fold it up. Fold it up. And you might want to tuck in these a little bit. Fold up. As you're going along, just take your time. Like I said, nothing should be in a rush. All right. There we go. We take that away. I'm not going to do that anymore. And we're just going to roll this, and we're going to tuck these in. Kind of pinch the seam here. And we'll give that a roll and seam side down. Now I cut out another one, a 4 by 18 inch. And this is what we want to roll this out to. So let's get this up. Sticking. Let's put that down first, and then put this on here. And then we're just gonna roll this gently out to a 4 by 18 inch cylinder here. Like I said, cutting out and your measuring of the things on wax paper or aluminum foil or parchment paper really do help a lot. Get that in over there, and it's kind of in here, and down here. Let's go this way a little bit. We still need to go up this way. There we go, we're getting there. Come all the way down, and then we'll switch it back this way. We're almost there. I think we're good. But let me kind of bring these out a little bit. Right there. And then we're going to fold this up like an envelope. So we're going to take a 1/3 over, and then this over here. Okay? And let me come back. Okay, my bad. We don't do that yet. We're going to cut this dough in half. So I can put this over here and get this to this end here and stretch these out. You know where the middle line is here. Right around here. Looks good. Okay, and we're going to cut these in half because we're going to have 2 pizzas. And now we're going to do that 1/3 and 1/3. So 1/3 and 1/3. You can see what I'm doing, right? And then we're going to just pinch these seams together again. And we'll do the same thing here. 1/3 of the way over, and I'm just going to show you the layers in here of crust. It's going to be amazing. And we'll put that over, and we'll pinch these seams together here. Make sure we pinch them all together. That way it won't be breaking on you that easy when you roll it out again. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, see that one didn't pinch together very nicely. And I'm just going to make a ball out of this, like I did last time. Pinch that. Good, and then the same thing here. Get all these pinched And my sauce is almost done. Take a look at that as soon as I get this done. So we'll just make this a ball. Okay, let's take our attention over here. We'll look at the sauce and see how it's cooked down here. Because there's only a few seconds left. There you go. You can see it. Got nice and thick here. And I'm just going to turn the heat off now. And let that sit there. And cool down. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, we have our bowl here that we first, oh, I went down too far. Let me tighten this up a bit here on my tripod. There we go. The bowl that we had it rising in the first time, we're going to put it right back in there, right next to each other. And we're going to cover this with the towel again. But this time we're going to let it rise in the refrigerator for about 45 minutes. So let's do that and we'll come back. Okay, we have our sauce off the heat right now. And to that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. It's going to give it some nice richness. And the basil. And again, we'll let that sit and cool down. And this is going to go on top of our pizza. Man, that looks good. It smells good too. So it's just a quick sauce. So let's put that aside. Okay, while the dough is rising for the second time in the refrigerator, I'm prepping what I'm going to put on top of the pizza. One pizza I'm just going to make plain, and one I'm going to load up. So what I did here was I'm frying some sausage up. I have this bulk sauce sweet Italian sausage that I just put up in pieces, and I fried them a little bit. I didn't go all the way through because it's going to continue to cook in the oven when I put it on there, but I just wanted to give that a head start. What I have here on this plate is I'm going to put some pepperoni slices on there, some Genoa salami that I sliced up, some sliced green and red bell peppers, some sliced onions, and mushrooms, and that's going to go on one of the pies. So as soon as the pie is ready, in about 35 minutes, not the pie, when the dough is ready in about 35 minutes, we'll bring that out and we'll roll that out, get that into the pan, and start assembling. Okay, our dough is in the refrigerator and it's finished. I have here 2 9-inch cake pans. For these, I prefer them dark colored because that's going to brown them better, and they have straight sides, which is better for the crust that we're going to get. So I'm going to line each of these with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It seems like a lot, but it's really going to help the dough from not sticking and getting that crisp exterior to it, you know what I mean. And so we're going to one there, and there's 2 tablespoons there, and 2 tablespoons here of olive oil. 1, 2. There we go. Good. So what I'm just going to do here is with my hand is I'm just going to give them a nice coat, bottom, sides. Get it all in there. Make sure you get that side. And I'll do this one. And let me wash my hands. That's real easy. There we go. And we're going to pull the dough out. I have the oven heating to 425 degrees. And I have my rack on the lower level. I'm just going to put these aside so they're not in the way for right now, because we're going to have to roll these out again. But here is the dough. As you can see, it's risen again. So I'm just going to take one of these for now. And I have here a 12-inch circle, but I really want to go 13 inches. So we're gonna roll a little bit beyond that. So let me just put that down. And we want to try to get a nice circle, so we'll just kind of keep turning this as we roll. And I'll bring it closer here so you can see there. Okay. Trying to keep this in a circle here. Okay, now we can go around that middle out of there. There we go. Middle out. Middle out. And again, I'm just going to roll this out. You don't need to sit here and watch me go for 5 minutes. I'll be back when these are done. Okay, I think I got our first one out. So I'm just going to grab the pan here, give it a swirl again. And the best way again to pick these up is to kind of roll it on the pin very gently. You don't very loosely, you want to roll it. And then we'll put this aside for now. Bring that pan over and we'll put this right down there and we'll roll it over. Good. Now just kind of wiggle it so it gets in there. And we're just gonna press it in and we're gonna bring the sides up here. And I'm gonna take a piece off here. Kind of put it on here. Just got to patchwork a little bit here. How about here too? And that should be good. Just want to make sure you get it all up the sides here. This side's a little skimpy too here, so. Take it there. Okay, I'm going to do the second dough and we'll come back. All right, we got the second dough here rolled out. So we'll, again, roll that loosely on this board without the parchment, without the wax paper here. And we'll get rid of that. Bring that over, give it a swirl. And we'll start unpacking this here. A little bit over the side here. So we'll adjust now. Too far in, but that's all right. We'll make the adjustment here. There we go. Even further. Good. Okay. So that's in. We're going to start bringing the crust up on the sides here. Yeah, we're getting there. You see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of working it up. Okay, I think we're good there. Just get a couple things here. What do you think of that? Looks good? I think so. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so the deep dish pizza in Chicago, they use shredded mozzarella. Fresh is actually better, but I'm going to use these today. They really don't melt as good as fresh, but this is a good brand, so I'm going to try it out. And we're going to use 2 cups in each of these. And we're just going to spread it all around in here. 1. and 2. So like I said, we're just going to spread it in here in a mound. There we go. And now we're going to add our toppings. Like I said, I'm just going to put my topping on one of these. I think I'll do this one with the toppings here because it's a little thicker. But just whatever you want here. This is the sausage. I think that looks good. That's spread out a little bit. And let me go get my other toppings. Be right back. Okay, let's put some pepperoni down. Use as much or as little as you want. As the painter Bob Ross once said, it's your world. Do what you want. I used to come home from college and watch that guy and fall asleep. Very relaxing. Alright, I think they're good here. How about some Genoa salami? Or Genoa, I don't know. Again, I'm not Italian, so I'm not going to pretend to be perfect when I'm doing that. But this is very tasty salami. I think that's good. And how about some onions? Oh, I got a pepper in there. And some mushrooms. You can put olives on it, black olives, green olives, whatever you want. It's yours. It's your pizza. And put some peppers on there. Okay. One more. Maybe just a few more onions to top that off. A few more. There we go. Just gonna push this down just a little bit to get it in there. Okay, good. Now, we're going to pour 1 1/4 cup of sauce on each pie here. This is the sauce we made. And we'll spread that out. Let me just get this in here. It's a little easier to pour when I have it in a measuring cup. And I want to be sure that they're both getting the same amount too. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, good. Okay, so we're going to just pour this in here. And we'll just take a spoon and kind of spread the sauce around here. Get into the corners here. And we'll do this one too. Some more sauce in the pot. I just want to scrape out. I don't like to waste things. You work hard to make all this sauce and then you leave some in the pot. That's not good. Okay. And the last thing we need is I have some Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to sprinkle 3 tablespoons of the Parmesan cheese over each of the pies. scissors. So hopefully this opens. I know I had them around here somewhere, but okay. Knife time. And we're going to 3 tablespoons of this. This is shredded Parmesan, not grated. So we'll go 1. Yep. 2 and 3. I'm actually going to just get a little more over here. I think I skipped on one of those tablespoons. Again, I said, you want more of this, you put more in it. You want less, you put less. 2. And 3. I think we're good. I'm going to put a little bit more here around the edges. I think we're good. Okay. I'm going to put these into the oven, 425 degrees, and we're going to go about, let me look at this and make sure I have the right time. 20 to 30 minutes. So let's get them in there and we'll come back. Okay, it's almost that time to get these bad boys out of here. And I'm going to take them out. I'm afraid to open the oven because every time I have it on 425 degrees or over and I open it up, my fire alarm goes off. But at least I know it's working, so that's I feel safe that way. Okay, let's open this oven and get these things out. Oh, they look great. Ooh, hot oven. If you hear the smoke alarm go off, don't worry. My house ain't burning down. There we go. How do those look? All right, we're going to let this rest about 10 minutes, and then we're going to release them from the pan, and so we'll do that as soon as 10 minutes is up. Okay, we're almost there for the 10-minute rest, and what I'm going to do is just take a spatula, and I'm just going to kind of go around the edges real quickly here on these. And this one. And never use, I said this before, never use metal in your non-stick cookware. It's not good. It will scratch it and the non-stick surface will come off. Let me just give these a shake. Oh yeah, they're loose. That's what all that oil in there does. You hear it? But the hard part is yet to come. Let's try releasing these things and getting them out of the pan. So. Oh yeah. Oh, get this out of the way. Got one out. That over there. And this is the hard one because it's very heavy. It's filled with all this stuff. I took the easy way first. Now hopefully I don't screw up on this one here. But try to get in there. This one's being a little stubborn. There we go. Get in there. I don't want this to break on me. There. Get this out of the way. And there you go. We got 2 pan pizzas. One plain, one loaded with everything. And the way to cut this that I find the best way is, I know I have it out. No, there it is with a bread knife. And just kind of cut across. Get in there. Way. And this is definitely pizza that you can eat with a fork. and knife. I know that's sacrilegious to some of my Italian friends, but you can do that. So just take a look at that crust in here. See if we can pick it up and show you here. And there you go. So if you have any questions about the Chicago deep dish pizza, post them. I'll be glad to answer. I'm going to enjoy this right now, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.